capital Abuja. I am Fauziya Lukman. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has declared that Nigeria remains open to dialogue between Mali, Guinea, Burkina Faso, and Niger Republic, despite recent coup in the four countries and their withdrawal from the ECOWAS Community of West African States, ECOWAS. Tinubu made the declaration while addressing African leaders at the 37th ordinary session of the Assembly of Heads of State, Government of the African Union (AU) in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. The chairman of the ECOWAS emphasized that the disagreements over the unconstitutional changes of the government in the country should mean a permanent rupture in the cooperation of affinity. President Tinubu also said his administration would engage in AU's commission in collaboration with member states to ensure that the African Central Bank takes off as scheduled in 2028. First Lady Oluremi Tinubu has urged Nigerians to, irrespective of ethnic and religious affiliation, set aside their differences and take advantage of the nation's diversity for rapid socio-economic development. Oluremi Tinubu gave the admonition in Abuja while addressing leaders and members of the Custom Wives Association of Nigeria (COWA) in Abuja. The First Lady, who was represented at the COWA relaunch, investiture of patrons and patronesses, as well as fundraising by the wife of the Chief of Defense, Ogogo Musa, admitted that Nigeria, like the United States, is made up of people with diverse cultural background who have used same to their own advantage. Kikeloma Okiri has details.
Speaking at the event, Oluremi Tinubu, who was represented by the POA president, Ogogo Musa, charged stakeholders to invest more in women and also support women empowerment to aid in eradicating poverty in the society. She further employed women to reevaluate themselves so as to incorporate the values into the younger generation, while commending the commitment and determination of COA in fostering friendship with officers' wives and Nigerian women at large.
Our shared political beliefs, but also our shared ideas and values. Values such as compassion, respect, integrity, and empathy. As women have a pivotal role to play, we are the nurturers and molders of the society. We must reevaluate ourselves and begin to incorporate these values into the younger generation. As homemakers, the well-being of the home rests heavily on our shoulders, and we must be the support system for our husbands to help them succeed at their jobs.
The president of COA, Kikelomo Adelin, says the aim of the association relaunch is to build relationship, partnership and friendship that will support luxury of communities to create job and support economic empowerment. Speaking on drugs abuse, Kikelomo says the association will support all relevant agencies to curb drug addiction through rehabilitation victims and patients.
Our primary drive is to build relationships, partnerships, and friendships that support the nurturing of LG communities, to alleviate poverty, create jobs, and support the economic empowerment of our members through initiatives that promote prosperity and economic opportunities. Since we came on board, we have identified many challenges facing the families of customs officers. These challenges include lack of decent housing for custom officers serving in remote border areas with their family, lack of access to decent and affordable schools for the children of customs officers serving in remote areas, need to economically empower the spouses of custom officers across the country, and a compelling need to launch an effective campaign against drug abuse across customs barracks.
Also, stakeholders at the event called for more synergy between customs and NDLEA towards tackling the menace of drug abuse.
The custom officers found this diligence is particularly evident in their recent collaboration effort with the NDLEA, which led to major interception of illicit drugs This collective action not only protect our borders, but also preserve the future of our youth.
The high point of the occasion was the presentation of awards to patrons and of eminent personalities, including the Comptroller General of Customs, Adewale Adeniyi. Kike Lomo Okere, Global Television News.
Similarly, President Defense and Police Officers' Wives Association, DEPOA, Ogogo Musa, says the military will ensure that internally displaced persons, IDPs, is reunited back to their ancestral homes. Ogogo, who is the wife of the Chief of Defense Staff, gave the assurance during the presentation of palliatives with IDPs in Durumi, Abuja, where she noted that it is the initiative of the military in reaching out to populace as well as honoring the internally displaced persons. Kikeloma Okiri has more.
It is a moment of gratitude and relief showing on the faces of those receiving the palliatives. President, Defense Police Officers' Wives Association says the plight of the internally displaced persons serves as a reminder of the devastating impact of conflict and displacement on innocent lives, adding that it is a sobering reality that compels the association to act with urgency and humanity.
It extends beyond simply providing aid. It's about restoring dignity, offering solace, and nourishing hope amidst despair. Our mission is rooted in our commitment to serve all citizens, particularly those most vulnerable. As we witness the gratitude and relief on the faces of those receiving assistance, let us be reminded of the healing power of compassion and its ability to mend wounds and revive faith in humanity.
She added that the initiative is to restore dignity and providing comfort, as well as offering a glimmer of hope in the midst of despair.
Behind the Renewed Hope Initiative, for her tireless efforts in uplifting humanity and empowering women and children out of poverty. Let us hold on to hope, trusting that our armed forces will spare no effort in reuniting you with your families and communities.
The chairman of the camp, Ibrahim Amadou, appreciates the military and the Chief of Defense Staff for the benevolence, saying the provision of food items will go a long way to alleviate their plight.
In fact, and indeed, we have about 3,400 plus IDPs at the Durumi IDPs camp, which is the biggest of the 18 camps in Abuja. Well, even before coming today, we know they are trying because we know how they have been impacting on the war against the terrorists. So today's event, like previous one 2 years ago by General Lucky Rabo and Mommy Victoria, we are happy that today we are remembered too by the Defense Department, Defense Ministry. So in addition to sacrificing their lives to defend us, they also spared time to reach out to us who are victims of the insurgency, to our children, our wives, and other people. So we are happy receiving them today.
The camp, which had about 3,400 IDPs from 8 states, was presented with items comprising bag of rice, grains, carton of Indomie, among others. The DEPOA president reiterated the commitment of the association to strengthen the welfare of the families of the internally displaced persons. Kike Lomo Okere, Global Television News.
Worried by the security challenges in the country, the federal government and state governors are considering the adoption of a state police system to curb rising insecurities across the country. The part of the deliberations between President Bola Tinubu and the state governors, Minister of Information and National Orientation Mohammed Idris disclosed this while briefing the State House reporters at the Presidential Villa, Abuja, after a meeting between the President and the governors. Uyi Agbomofegbe brings us more details.
The minister, who was joined at the briefing by Governors Caleb Mufwang of Plateau State, Uba Sani of Kaduna State, and Sheriff Uborewori of Delta State, explained that the process is still in its infancy and would only take shape after more deliberations between the stakeholders. According to him, the possibility of state police will further be discussed, adding that a lot of work needs to be done and that president and governors have agreed to work out the modalities. A lot of issues were discussed about the security situation in the country, the apparent food issue that the media has also been reporting about, and some other measures that will help in improving the state of our nation. Now, the first point is that a committee, the governors and Mr. President have agreed to set up a committee to deepen the conversation that has happened at the just concluded meeting. Of course, you know that it is impossible to complete most of the issues that were raised at the meeting, so it's going to be a continuous one. Secondly, Mr. President and the governors have agreed that these kind of meetings will continue in the interest of our nation. It is important that all the time the federal government and the state governors, who are leaders at the sub-national level, to continue to engage and interact collectively so that issues of national importance will continue to be addressed and we don't leave room for any speculation or for people who may seize the opportunity to say things that are not in the interest of our country. First, General of the State Services, the Inspector General of Police have been directed to coordinate with the state governors to look at the issue of those holding commodities. At this point that the nation requires food to be brought out to the people so that we can control prices and put food on the table of most Nigerians, other commodity traders are busy holding these commodities so that Nigerians will suffer or they will make more money as a result. There has been clamor for state police as Nigeria grapples with worsening insecurity challenges such as kidnapping and banditry. Uyi Agbomofwegbe, reporting for Global Television News.
The House of Representatives Special Committee on Crude Oil Theft has collaborated with the Nigerian Navy to initiate for effective policing of pipelines and other critical assets in the oil and gas industry with the overall goal to tackle the menace of crude oil theft and pipeline vandalism. This was as the committee met with the Chief of Naval Staff to strategize on the collaborative measures in Abuja. The chairman of the committee, Alhassan Dogo Dogua, who led the committee on the visit to the headquarters of the Nigerian Navy, reiterated the commitment of the lawmakers to turn around the economy through the oil and gas sector. Dogua, who is also the chairman of the House Committee on Petroleum Resources Upstream, emphasized the need to review the legal framework to enhance the effective performance of the security agencies in their operational activities on shore and in the hinterlands. The Nigerian Labour Congress says it will hold a two-day nationwide protest over the hardship being experienced by Nigerians as well as the deteriorating security situation in the country. NLC President Joe Ajaero disclosed this during a press briefing in Abuja after an emergency meeting of the National Executive Council (NEC) of the Union. He said the protest will begin a week after the expiration of the 14 days ultimatum issued to the federal government, which will expire on February 23rd. Sharon Najee brings us more.
The organized labor lamented that millions of Nigerians are facing hunger, erosion of purchasing power, and insecurity due to reforms that drove up inflation. The planned days for the nationwide protest are February 27th and 28th, respectively.
NEC unanimously noted its deep disappointment and condemned the actions of the federal government in refusing to implement the agreements and reached the following decisions. That the stance that it stands on the ratify the 14-day ultimatum issued to the federal government within which to implement the agreement and address the mounting crisis of survival by Nigerians. That the notice expires on the midnight of Thursday, the 22nd day of February 2024. That if on the expiration Congress is not satisfied with government's compliance with the conditions of the notice, Congress will be at liberty to take action that will compel government to implement the agreement. That next session declares a 2-day national protest on 27th and 28th of February to demonstrate outrage on the mounting hardship.
Africa's biggest economy is now grappling with a cost of living crisis, fueled by the highest inflation rate in nearly 3 decades. Sharona J. reporting for Global TV News.
Meanwhile, indications have emerged that the organized labor is prepared to lower its demand for 1 million minimum wage for workers in the country in line with realities on ground. The shift in position will likely be communicated to the federal government during the second meeting of the Interpretative Committee on the Minimum Wage on Monday and Tuesday. The meeting is expected to enhance deliberations between all parties involved in negotiations to allow for the announcement of a new minimum wage on or before April 1st, following the expiration of the current 30,000 minimum wage as provided by the law. The National Secretary of the New Nigerian People's Party, NNPP, Oladokwusi Sunday Ogeni, has petitioned the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, over alleged harassment of party's executives by its former governorship candidate, Olufemi Ajadi Oguntoyombi, and the Ogun State Police. Ogeni accused police in Ogun State of being used by its former governorship candidate to arrest and detain the party executives in the state. Ogeni also in a petition indicated that Oguntoyombi began harassing the executive members through the instrumentality of the police after his failed attempt to stop the party from withdrawing its petition against Governor Dapo Abiodun and the APC on March 18 governorship elections matter. The Executive Secretary of the Nigerian Education Loan Fund, Akin Sawyer, said student loan will be disbursed directly to the institution of the applicants to avoid diversion. He also noted that individuals who obtain the loans will be made to repay their loans within 2 years immediately after completion of the mandatory National Youth Service Corps. He also stated that the education loan will also be funded through donations, gifts, endowment, and revenue occurring from other sources. Sawa made this known during a meeting with the Executive Secretary of the National Universities Commission, Chris Meyaki, in Abuja. Students no fewer than 155 institutions may be barred from processing direct entry administration owing to failed verification from the certificates awarding institution. The registration of the DE examination is set to commence on February 28, 2024, while in February 2023, JAM issued an advisory to guide candidates seeking to gain admission through the direct entry in the 2023-2024 academic session. According to JAM, the advisory was basically to address the issue of candidates using unacceptable or forged A-level certificates or qualifications to gain admissions. The Nigerian Customs Service, NCS, has intercepted 15 trucks containing food items in Sokoto State as part of its effort to prevent smuggling, which aggravated the rising of cost of commodities in the country. Abubakar Shafi, spokesperson NCS Sokoto Command, stated that the vehicles were arrested along Gwagwadabe Ilela Road. Shafi said the interception was made due to the quantity of the farm produce with Rokos carrying. He said the trucks were presently in custody of the command and investigation had commenced to ascertain the owners and destination of the food items. Shafi added that the operation became necessary with the prevailing inflation of food items in the country. Pharmaceutical manufacturers and importers have directed to stop supplying medical products to patent medicines dealers in Niger State and Sabongari market of Kano State. This follows the judgment of the Federal High Court, which ordered the medicines merchant to immediately vacate the Sabongari market and relocate to coordinated wholesale centers in the Dongoro of Kano State. Delivering judgment in the case, Justice Simon Obodena held that the suit was lacking in merit and the plaintiff have no local standing to challenge the relocation in order by the Pharmaceutical Council of Nigeria, a body empowered to regulate their businesses. You're watching the Midday News coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. We are on StarTime channel 276. Kindly follow us on all social media platforms using @GlobalTVNG and other handles now showing on your screen. In the Midday News Newton, Nasima seeks transparent financial strategy, tax relief for private sectors. The news continues shortly with details of these and more stories right after this break. Do stay with us. Welcome back to Global Television, bringing you live broadcasts of the Midday News. Thank you for staying with us. I am Fauziya Lukman. Moving on to the foreign scene, third convicted former Prime Minister Thaksin Shinawatra has arrived at his mansion in the capital Bangkok after being released on parole. The billionaire was freed from police hospital while he's been serving a one-year jail sentence for corruption and abuse of power. Thaksin, who's 74, was detained as soon as he returned from Thailand last August from 15 years in self-imposed exile. He did not spend a single night in jail after the complaining of health problems, and Thai originally 8 prison terms was commuted to 1 year by Thaksin just days after his return from exile. Moving on to business, where the Nigerian Association of Chambers and Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture, NASIMA, has tasked the Minister of Finance, Olawale Edun, on transparent financial strategy and tax relief for private sector development. The National President, Nasima Dele Oye, stated this in a statement in Lagos State following the association's visit to the minister. He said the visit as a representative of the private sector was to engage constructively about the current state of the nation's economy. We noted that the collective objective was to foster an economic environment that balances the need for the public and private sectors while ensuring sustainable growth and stability. He also noted that the association findings reveal that while the private sector diligently fulfilled its tax obligations, there was an expectation of reciprocity in the form of efficiency, public services, and infrastructure. The Naira suffered a fresh slide both at the official and parallel foreign exchange market, where the nation currency depreciated on Friday at 1,670 Naira per dollar from 1,600 Naira per dollar recorded at the close of trading activity on Thursday at the parallel market, while it closed at an official rate of 1,537 Naira per dollar on Friday and 1,498 Naira per dollar recorded the previous day. The fresh rate also created 133 Naira gap between the official and the parallel market, signaling fresh concerns about round tripping. This development is despite increased dollar supply worth a total transaction volume of $8.83 billion in 11 days of trading activities through the Nigerian Autonomous Foreign Exchange by the deposition money banks. Speaker House of Representatives Tajuddin Abbas has urged for a strategic partnership with the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia to bolster investment opportunities in Nigeria. Abbas, was represented by the Deputy Speaker, retired Honorable Benjamin Kalu, made this known during a courtesy call by the Saudi Arabian Nigerian Parliamentary Friendship Group. Jim Manson has more details.
The Speaker acknowledged the long-standing diplomatic ties between Nigeria and Saudi Arabia, which spanned over 25 years. He therefore advocated for close collaboration in trade and investment, tourism, oil and gas, and infrastructure. The Speaker also called for a balance in trade between both countries, emphasizing Nigeria's determination to grow its gross.
That's it on the midday news, and it came to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. We are on StarTime channel 276. Kindly follow us across social media platforms using @GlobalTV NG and other handles now showing on your screen. On behalf of the production team, I am Fauziya Lukman, thanking you so very much for watching. See you again.